Hi, this is Josh with Retro TV One Tech, and today we're going to see if we found the ultimate MS-DOS gaming laptop right here. This is the Toshiba Satellite Pro 400 CDT, and it's regarded in the retro YouTube and retro gaming community as one of the top retro and MS-DOS gaming laptops that you can possibly find. And we will go over why here in just a bit, but you can see it's in really, really good shape. I was super lucky to find it on eBay, because they don't come up very often for sale, and when they do, they're usually $200, $300, $400 or more, especially if they're in good shape and they work. This one was only $75 and was actually listed as untested, so I'm taking a little bit of a risk by getting it. And actually, I've already tested it and already had gotten it out of the box to see if it works. So you'll just have to wait to find out if it works or not. But I couldn't wait, so I'm filming this intro a little bit later. But let's talk about why this laptop might be the ultimate MS-DOS gaming laptop. So first of all, it's actually got a 640 by 480 active matrix display, and that's really, really important. Active Matrix gives you the ability to play games and run animations smoothly with clear and crisp picture. If you've got a dual scan screen like some early laptops had in this era, it doesn't work very well and there's a lot of ghosting on the screen. It just doesn't work very well to play games. But the resolution is the most important thing, 640 by 480. Most DOS games ran in 320 by 200 resolution, and so 640 by 480 basically just doubles that, and you have a little bit of a bar on the top and bottom, but it actually fills the whole screen horizontally. And so you can play your games using the full screen of the laptop display panel with no weird stretching or scaling. A lot of older laptops would do some stretching or scaling, but it made, graphical glitches and weird scaling, and text looked funny and it was hard to read and all kinds of things, even though it would maybe fill the whole screen. So this one naturally fills the whole screen besides just a little bit at the top and the bottom, and it actually will hopefully look really, really good when the display is scaled. So that's the first thing that makes this possibly the ultimate MS-DOS gaming laptop if it works. And then the second thing is the sound chip. So it's got full Sound Blaster Pro compatibility and actually a real Yamaha OPL3 chip inside of it. So it'll play any game with AdLib, Sound Blaster, OPL2, any of that stuff, Sound Blaster Pro. It'll do all those things. It's got that integrated ESS audio chip that handles all that, and a little speaker here in the front or a headphone jack if you want to plug it into external speakers. So it's actually got full sound support for basically every MS-DOS game besides the ones that would run like Tandy Sound or something. So basically 99% of every DOS game is going to have really good sound on this laptop. It's also got a Pentium 75 megahertz processor, which is plenty of power to run basically every MS-DOS game as well. So it's really got a lot of things going for it. The only thing it doesn't have is a joystick port or a game port, and that's something that can be accomplished with an adapter or with the docking station, which I don't have for this yet. So that's the only thing basically going against this, is that it doesn't actually have a joystick port, but everything else really makes this the ultimate MS-DOS gaming laptop, and you can overcome that joystick limitation, as I said before. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and go back to my previous footage of testing this and see if it actually works or if there are going to be some repairs that are needed. It might be a repair video. We'll see what happens. So let's get started. And actually, before we get too far into the video, I do want to give you a little tour of the system itself. I know you were excited to see if it powers up or not, but let me just give you a really quick outside tour of the machine itself, a little bit closer up. So as you can see in the front, here's the speaker, volume control, and headphone jack, and the latch for releasing the display. And then you've got PCMCIA slots here, power button, and microphone and line-in jacks as well. You've got a serial port, and then you've got the external disk drive port, and that works with any of the standard Toshiba external floppy drives of the era. This is the dock connector. This is the power supply. It does have an internal power supply, so you don't need any wall warts or anything, just a cord. It goes in there. Here's a fan, and this is PS2 keyboard or mouse port right here. And then this is parallel port for all your printing needs. And then this is a VGA port to attach an external monitor if you want to do that. Here's your IR port there, IR receiver rather, for any kind of portable devices that might use that from the era, usually PDAs or things like that. This is the Select Bay port. Right now it's got a CD-ROM drive in it. It actually will exchange out for a floppy, and all the unlock and lock controls and all that kind of stuff. All right, we just got it out of the box. Moment of truth. I just plugged it in and the lights came on. Shows some kind of a charge, so that's a good sign. I've just got it on the floor because it's really late, but I couldn't stand not trying it out, and I just want to see if it works. So here we go. Moment of truth. Something's working. Oh. Oh. Looks like it's working. Yes. Okay, good. That's actually a good thing because... Awesome. Yeah, that's actually a good thing because obviously the CMOS battery is dead. That's pretty common in these machines. But there's a high-pitched noise going on, but hopefully it'll still boot. So we are going to just go through. Looks like it's got 16 megs of RAM. Oh, the screen looks great. So like I said earlier, I got this in untested conditions, so we didn't even know if it was working or not, but I hear the hard drive spinning up too. Everything should work. Let's see if it boots. If not, I've got a floppy I can do, but everything looks good. So I don't know what that high-pitched whine is. That might be something. Power supply, I'm not really sure, so hopefully that is okay. But, all right, we're going to end. We actually don't need to save anything, so we're just going to escape, say exit without saving. Yes, let's see if it boots. Here we go. Let's do a memory test. Wow. It's doing something. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's starting DOS. That's incredible. Oh my goodness. And it's loading antivirus? Not that we really need that on a machine like this. Wow. It's like just working. That's pretty cool. That seems to be stuck right here for some reason. I may have to boot it from a floppy. Wow, the screen looks great though. So everything's working. I just need to figure out what's going on with this whole Microsoft Power Manager and all that kind of stuff needs to be fixed here. So I should be able to get a floppy drive in it and boot it from a floppy. Okay, well the screen works, everything else works. I don't know what that noise is. Oh, here it goes. Okay. It's actually working. I just had to wait a little longer. Watchdog PC data security. Okay. Well, apparently I'm going to have to... That's funny. If found, I'm going to call this number for a reward. All right. Wow, 1990? Oh, because the date isn't. Okay, so apparently I'm going to have to figure out another way to boot this, but it actually does work. That's awesome. Wow. All right, so I've got a floppy drive from my Toshiba 500 CDT hooked up, and it is the same connector, so that's good. And again, this is a 400 CDT. It does need cleaned up a little bit, but let's see if I can boot it. I've got a Windows 98 boot disk in there. It doesn't really matter. It should actually boot, so we'll see what happens. That's weird. I can't get it to turn back on. It was on, like, no problem. It doesn't like the floppy drive for some reason. It was working fine just a minute ago. All right, so I have another battery like this, luckily. So I finally figured out what was going on. So I still don't know what that high-pitched noise is. That worries me a little bit, but I do think I got it to address the floppy drive, which is good. All right, so boot priority says floppy drive, then hard drive, so that's what I want. So we're just going to save changes and exit this time. I'm not even going to worry about anything else. All right, so let's see. Now we got rebooted. So that was the battery then causing it to have problems. I still don't know what that noise is. Definitely have to check with somebody on that. All right, so let's see if it'll boot. Should say starting Windows 98. And hopefully we'll be able to access the hard drive, and if not, at least we'll get it to boot. Okay, we don't need CD-ROM support. Cool thing is the hard drive seems like it works. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if we can get a directory of the drive. Keyboard works. Cool. What about the C drive? Yes. Let's see what's on this thing. Whoa. A bunch of spreadsheets. And there it went. That's weird. Yeah, there's definitely something going on with the power supply on this thing. So it worked for a while, and then it shut itself off for some reason. That's kind of weird. Well, we'll keep working with it, but at least it kind of works. All right, so it keeps shutting off after a little while. So I'm thinking that it is somehow the power supply overheating. I don't know how to get a power supply for this thing or even how to put it in, but it's definitely kind of working. So the next step is to try another battery that actually has a charge in it to see if that will work. Yeah, so something's overheating. All right, I'm still doing some troubleshooting here. So I plugged in a known working battery to one of my other systems because luckily one of my newer Toshiba systems uses the same battery. And with it just using the battery and not plugged into the wall, it seems to be working much, much better. So that leads me to believe that it's the power supply that's overheating. And somehow the battery is not overheating the power supply as quickly. It didn't like it when I did a directory on the hard drive. It could also be the hard drive. If it's just the hard drive, that's easy. It seems to be working just fine. I think it needs a new power supply. I was looking to see if there's anything cool on here, like games or something, but this looks like it was totally a work computer, but it is literally just working right now. That's cool. So that's the problem. It's the power supply. Oh, wait a minute. I see something. I see Quake. Somebody had Quake on their work computer. I have to install Commander Keen on here too, though. I think that'll be the first game we try on here. Alright, so installing Commander Keen is working just fine. Can't wait to try it out. So it'll be interesting to see if the sound works on here. Alright, so we'll just type in Keen 4. Alright, everything's good. It did detect the sound blaster. Awesome. Okay. And again, I apologize, this is a little crude, but this is sometimes how I just like to do things. I just like to test things just very informally. Because I just get excited, and that's the fun part about messing around with these computers. Look at that. It's got some black bars around it, but it's pretty cool. I wonder if there's a way to stretch that. It's pretty close, though, to full screen. All right. Oh, yeah, the color is great on that. Wow. All right, so let's configure. Sound is ad-lib. Let's see if we get some music on this thing. It's literally just working other than that whining noise. We'll get to the bottom of that, but in the meantime, if I can use it on a battery, I'm just going to order a new battery for it. We'll go from there. That's awesome. Okay, let's see if we can get a new game going here. See if we get some sound. Oh, the sound works! Woohoo! I've got that little tiny speaker down there, but it works great. Sounds amazing. Kind of hard to play with one hand, but still one of my favorite games ever. Literally everything's working perfectly as long as I don't plug it in. Probably gonna end up clearing out this hard drive and installing like Windows 95 or 3.1 or something on it, but wow. This literally just works perfectly, and look how smooth the screen scrolls. That looks great. I don't notice the whine as much with the music playing. That's nice. The big draw about this computer is just because of the 640 by 480 screen, as Keen reads the book next to the little slug there. But it's the 640 by 480 screen, and I don't know why it's not filling the whole screen, since it is 640 by 480, but it really does look nice, and it does fill up at least the majority of the screen. Oh yeah, I gotta put the DOS disk back in, but you know what I mean. So for those of you that might be thinking, we should try Quake. Apparently we can't. It's just kind of what's left of a Quake directory. It's got a config file and a batch file or two. It's only 5,000 bytes. That's definitely not a majority of the game files are missing. So that's not going to work, but I can put it on myself. All right, so apparently this thing had a watchdog or something on it. So this is what I'm removing here. So I put REM on a lot of these watchdog type things, and I'm going to see if it will boot now without the floppy. So I'm going to save, I'm going to exit, and I didn't delete everything. I just did REM. That way it'll keep the line there in the auto exec bat, but it won't actually load it. So we'll see what happens. All right, so here we go. The squeal actually kind of went away a little while ago. I wonder if it just hasn't been run, and that's capacitors, coils, or who knows. Either way, let's see what happens here. So let's see if I've removed enough things to actually like get it to load Windows. Yes, I don't know what all these different things are, power managers and all this stuff. I don't know how much is necessary and how much is not, but I think the watchdog thing is off of here now, so should be able to load it. And maybe not, I don't know. If that's the case, though, it would have been pretty easy to just bypass that watchdog thing with the boot disk like I just did. Literally just took a boot disk and modified the auto exec bat and configs this. But I guess a lot of people probably wouldn't have known how to do that. Either way, this part takes a long time when it's loading, and then it goes into like testing the modem and all this other stuff. So we'll see what happens. Oh, that's a modem installer. All right, I can probably take that out. I definitely don't need a modem. There it goes. Look at that. Windows, and it's the Toshiba version too. That's cool. Let's see if it does ta-da. I need my ta-da. Oh, that's funny. They've got their, whoa. All that Office stuff, validate reports and all that. That's funny. They've got all their stuff backwards. So I'm wondering now if I can just run this machine on battery until I fix the power supply. I got to hear some Canyon.mid. Let's see if it's on here. Screen looks amazing. You probably can't tell because I don't have the camera set up very well. I apologize for that. But again, I'm just so excited to have this machine. It's such a rare machine. So hard to find, and it is basically one of the most sought after DOS computers you can get. And it's already got Windows 3.1 on it. There's Canyon.mid here. It's already ready to go. All right, so here we go. And I know the sound is working. That sounds amazing. All right, so I'm just kind of shocked. This thing, like, other than it can't be plugged in right now, this thing kind of works perfectly. Of course, you got Solitaire and Minesweeper. Yeah, this is a nice computer. Now I don't even need the boot disk. Probably take that modem initializer thing out of there. That'll make it definitely make it work a little better. All right, so before we go too much further with this, with all the noises this is making and everything else, it doesn't sound like a hard drive noise, but still, I want to make sure I get this archived and backed up. So I'm going to find the hard drive on here, figure out where it is, and I'm going to get it archived, backed up, made an image, and all that kind of stuff so that I can back it up on my Windows 10 computer. And just in case something happens, I'll be able to copy everything to a compact flash card, and I'll have all the original information and drivers and everything for this computer just like it was brand new from the factory. All the Toshiba branding on Windows 3.1 and all the official drivers and everything will be there. I won't have to try and find all those. Even though I do have a backup copy of some of those, it's better to have them from the computer itself. So here on the 400 CDT, the hard drive is actually underneath of the battery. I didn't know that because here is a 500 CDT and the hard drive goes in that little bay right there. So it's just right on the bottom of the computer, basically right at the surface. You remove one cover and you're there. This one is in this little metal bracket here, and there it comes. So that's the hard drive for this one, and there it is. Well, that'll be easy. I won't even have to take that out of any kind of a caddy. It's just right there. It's a 44 pin 2.5 inch IDE drive. All right, I have it plugged into my FIDCO IDE to USB adapter here. I'm going to get it transferred over to the computer. There it goes. Sounds like the computer's reading it, getting it ready to archive. All right, here are the files on the drive, and you can hear it kind of clicking and clunking, which makes me a little nervous, which is why I want to get everything off here. You can see all the folders are, first of all, they're dated like 1998, a lot of them, and also you can just see they're all in capital letters and everything else. So I'm going to copy all the files and folders. That's what I normally do, just copy them kind of as a raw backup of all the files, and then I'll do a mechanical backup of the actual magnetic data on the drive, and that way there's no way I can lose any information. I've got it both ways. I've got the files and I've got the magnetic data. And there it goes, it's copying. I wonder if I got them all. It's got 1,000 files, but only 32 megs, or I guess it was like 64 when it first started, so we'll see. Well, you can hear it's happily copying files. Got just a minute or two left. So I used a program called Drive Image XML, and you can see that everything is done. Imaging of G completed successfully, so I have all the files backed up and a mechanical image of the drive, so I shouldn't be losing any data no matter what. Alright, so I'm reinstalling the hard drive in the computer here, and you can see, sorry about the shadow, you can see it's all good. Everything's in there, and then the battery just slides right on top of that. So there you go. The battery's in there, ready to turn it back on, test, and hopefully everything's still okay. If not, we got a good backup. All right, moment of truth. We're going to turn it back on, and then if it boots up, I'll go ahead and set up my table and create a proper workspace here. Yep, everything seems to be good. Yeah, same battery error, because of course I took the battery out and I don't have a good real-time clock battery, but that seems to work fine, so we will get the table set up and finish exploring this awesome computer. Alright, so it's several weeks later and I finally figured out how to stop this annoying squealing sound. Check this out. If I go over into battery save mode and I go into low power, it stops. So nice. So what I finally figured out is I think that the inverter is bad. It's basically an LCD inverter that creates power for the LCD panel. So I think that's going bad because I actually hear the sound coming from right here, and that's about where the inverter is, I think. But what I can do is I can go into user setting and I can make sure the processing speed is high, so I still get full power. The screen's a little dimmer, but everything else works fine. So that's pretty cool. So all I have to do then is just save changes, exit, and we're good to go. No more squealing. And one more thing I really need to fix on this is the startup sound. So that should be the ending sound, the turn off your computer sound. So I need to fix that. And by the way, every time I go into Windows, I do have to go back into that user power mode, and then that stops the squealing. So what I did was I copied some of the Windows sound effects onto a disk here. I've got this external drive that goes with this computer. It actually goes with the Tecra 500 CDT here, but it works on this one too. So luckily Toshiba used the same floppy drive for a long time, because this one didn't come with one. It just came with the CD-ROM. But I'm going to get those files copied over here, and we will get the startup sound corrected. All right, here we go. This is kind of like a boot disk as well, but I had some extra space on it, so I'm going to copy all the WAV files over to the Windows directory. Well, apparently it already has that one, but either way. All right, so it only needed Tada. Let's get it installed. All right, so all we have to do is go into the control panel and sound, and when we click over here on Windows Start, we can see it's set to chimes, which is not correct, but we're going to set it over here to Tada, which is correct. Yay! That's exactly right. All right, so then all we have to do is just test it by restarting Windows, which in this case, we just exit and then load it again. There's not really a restart on Windows 3.1. So that's the correct ending sound. So now all I have to do is reload Windows and it should be correct. Yay! And every time I have to stop the squeal, but we will get that fixed when the new inverter I ordered comes in. But that's awesome. I'm glad the computer finally starts with the right sound effects. That's been bothering me for a while. You know, it's like when you get used to a computer loading a certain way and having a certain sound, you know, all through childhood, it needs to be that way. So now it is exactly as it should be. All right, so it's a few days later, and I finally got the computer up on a table, got a tripod here, and I just want to try a few games out. I actually copied a few games to the hard disk to try it on this system so we can wrap up this video, because of course, besides the nostalgia of playing with Windows 3.1 and playing with an older DOS era PC like this, I mostly bought this to play games on it and play games specifically at the 640 by 480 resolution that this thing supports. So the first thing I want to do is play a little Silver Ball. And the one thing you'll notice is I showed it earlier on Keen 4 that there were borders at the top and bottom of the screen. And I realized after doing a little research that one of the reasons that's there is because DOS game resolution was natively 320 by 200. And so when you multiply that by 2, you get 640 by 400. And so there's the 80 pixels that are left there. So they split it 40 at the top and 40 at the bottom. So you'll notice when we load Silver, there'll be a little border at the top and bottom of the screen. You can kind of see there a little bit on the border. It's kind of dark. Turn up the brightness a little bit. All right, so we're going to try my favorite one, which is Fantasy. The music on this is so good. Now, for whatever reason, this game actually goes full screen when you actually get into the game itself, so it must have the ability to scale inside the game itself. Love this music. That little speaker does a pretty good job. It's just one little speaker down there I showed earlier, so you could definitely plug in headphones or better speakers, but this is pretty good. Not the world's best pinball player or anything, but it's fun. And you can see the screen is great, even at the lower brightness mode. Really works well. And of course, we have to try Doom. You can see the border is a little bit better now at the top and bottom of the screen there. So again, 640 by 480. So that's how that works. Still looks great though. And I'm actually glad it's not scaled. You can see that the text is nice and sharp all over the screen. Everything's really just doubled. And so rather than bad scaling on some of the 800 by 600 or 1024 by 768 machines, you get a lot better picture quality on these 640 by 488 laptops. 640 by 480, I should say. Yeah, you can see it looks great. And sounds great too. Super cool. All right, let's try Tyrion real quick. And this one actually just works with no modification. On my faster PCs, I've got to use CPU speed to slow it down because this game is really sensitive to processors that are too fast. But on this processor, 75 megahertz, it's about perfect. It's like the sweet spot for this game. So, all right, here we go. I'm not going to do a whole lot of upgrades to the ship or anything, even though it is fun to do that. Let's just get right into it. Here we go. Not sure why the music is slowing down a little bit and that there's no sound effects. I need to look into that. Maybe the Sound Blaster thing is not configured correctly in this game. Now let's try a little Jazz Jackrabbit. Nice, looks like that works just fine. Yeah, it sounds great. Now you can see there's borders again at the bottom and top of the screen. Oh yeah, smooth as silk. Wow, that is a very smooth gameplay experience. Yeah, this processor is perfect for that. Ow! I love how he says ow. Oh, I can shoot the rabbit stink sign. Why don't we like rabbits? That's my checkpoint. Super fun. All right, everybody. Well, that's all for now for this video on the Toshiba Satellite Pro 400 CDT. We hope you enjoyed the video. As you can see, this worked really, really well with a few glitches here and there with the battery and the charging and some of the other things we had to overcome throughout the video. But overall, it works really, really well. And we actually are going to be doing a repair video on this to see if we can fix the whining and see if we can fix, of course, the RTC battery, all those types of things, and the power supply as well. So we're gonna see if we can get all that going. But luckily, it does work, it does play games, and I just have to keep a charged battery in it for now. So it's a really, really cool little system. I'm glad I have it. Is it the ultimate MS-DOS gaming laptop? You decide. Let me know in the comments down below. It's debatable. As for me, I do think it actually is one of the ultimate MS-DOS gaming laptops. And I think the other one that's a really good contender for that is the IBM ThinkPad 701C, the Butterfly, that I have as well. It just got an amazing screen for that same exact purpose and great sound and everything else. But I think this one really makes a case for being up there as that ultimate MS-DOS gaming laptop. The other one that goes on that list that I don't have is the Compaq LTE 5000, and those are even harder to find than these. I've actually had a search saved on eBay for that for like a year or two now and have not found one. So one of these days, I might find one of those as well, but that basically has the same specs as this, so I'm not super concerned about being able to find it. It would just be fun if I can. So if you know of somebody who has a Compaq LTE 5000 and would like to sell it, definitely let me know and send me an email or leave me a comment or something like that. But otherwise, you know, definitely let me know what you thought of this computer, and then we'll be doing another video on this showing all the repair work and everything else that I will do to this laptop to get it back, hopefully in perfect working order. So either way, it works, and I'm just happy to have it. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. All right, everybody. So for now, enjoy that tech and keep it retro.